Okay, and we're live. Hello, and welcome to the Hinge Games live stream. Got a lot to talk about tonight. There was some stuff that I discovered just before the stream started that I'm very excited about. We'll get to that
Ooh.
in a minute. But the
Ooh.
topics we'll be covering tonight are network replication, Steam version, like we uploaded a version to Steam. I think we did that before, but the one we have up now has better network replication for a game. We'll be talking about what are we going to do for like early access or a demo because there's a lot of potential there. Uh, Setting up stuff for a Steam page, pretty simple. We won't actually be showing anything. Uh, what else? Some other next steps for the game and maybe like a video that we'll do for like explaining what the game is. Because right now we're looking at a trailer, but it'd be really well. We'll get into that anyway.
Yeah.
And then for
All right.
Jacques, we'll be talking about doing the dungeon floors and adding variety to those.
Yep.
Okay,
All right.
so, all right, starting with network replication.
Mhm.
So, uh, I'm pretty should I just run the
Do it.
Unreal version? Let's see, because okay, let me start this. Let's switch to Unreal.
Yep.
Okay, there we go. All right, so what I'm gonna do, I'll launch from the main menu. Here we go. I'll launch two players, standalone game. Let's check this out. And I'm gonna have to turn off the regular view because you'll only see one screen, but we want you to see both. So this will, I don't know, depends on which one loads first, I guess. There are some stability issues, which I think is exclusive to the editor, but we'll find out. But yeah, so things. Let's just go over quickly. Things I managed to replicate. Dialogue. So like you'll walk up to somebody. Any of the players walk up to somebody. You'll see the dialogue bubble pop up above their head and fade in and out, and the lines of dialogue are synced. And then if they press X or A on an Xbox to like go to the next line, you'll see them go to the next line.
Cool.
Yeah. So I'll finish loading that up. But let's see. So you can see two versions of the game running right now. Those
Hmm.
side by side. There we go. And so the thing is, my controller too. So you can see, because basically all of my inputs get mapped to both.
Hmm.
There we go. So so what I have to do is I have to use the keyboard to do like, okay, which one do I have selected? Yeah, all right, so this one,
Pretty much like you're playing like the Mario when you get the power up in Mario Brothers, where it's like there's two of you and you're both doing the
pretty
same thing.
much. Yep. Okay, and
That's a
then
pretty
so
cool power up.
that one's gonna be the server, and then I'll go join game. This character is the red one. Oh, I started too early, so oh, it might actually pick up the server. That one finished loading first. All right, there we go. So Bjorn's game, I
Oh,
can see it.
nice.
I can join it, and let me just hide this so you can see both games. So the server is already loaded. Server's in green,
Hmm.
and then you should see. All right, there's the red character pops in, and the red one's on the client. Yeah, there we go.
Nice.
So now, yeah,
Nice.
it's duplicating my inputs to both of them, and then you can see when I walk up to the character to talk to them, you can see it on both. You can only see the interact on the
Nice.
player that is actually like you can only because the green one, remember, is the server, and the green one's the one
Hmm.
interacting, so she's the one that has the talk interact. And then if I move
Nice.
like that, then the red one has the talk interact. It's replicating what line is showing and everything like that. It seems fairly minor. It was kind of complicated to figure out. Uh, but yeah,
I
that's
think it's
working
important to
now.
know we never actually had online multiplayer before, so this is kind of a big deal for us. That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. We did. I did some network testing early on. So like
Yeah.
one of the things that was already working when I was doing this pass was I done some work early
Hmm.
on. Like like all of the 3Cs are working pretty well. So it seems
Nice.
weird, but like so information is going from like the moves that the red character's doing are going to that character on the left and then being sent to the version of the game on the right and then
Hmm.
executing that and vice versa, right?
That's awesome.
There is a bug right now with the dodge. The dodge is not
Hmm.
working super well. So I got some work to do on that.
All right.
But that's the only big issue that could be causing problems for a playthrough online. Because there are
Mm.
areas where the dodge needs to work properly because you need to jump over
Hmm.
gaps and stuff. But also the other thing, this is
That's
going to be kind of chunky because I'm running it through the editor, but I can go
yeah.
down into the dojo.
Sweet.
Yeah,
I think
and then
one
if I
question
set,
I asked you earlier last week was
yeah,
what happens if like so when one player walks underground, and the other one doesn't, do we have to
oh,
wait?
well, so nothing happens unless both of you are in the stairwell,
Yeah.
basically.
I
So
like
I
that
could
because
show
it's
you,
kind of
so I
like
could
old,
show you
it's
that
kind
right now.
yeah.
Like
It's
if
like an old school thing. I like it.
So, well, it's like a very simple solution to it, right? So the green character's trying to go
Yeah.
down right now, but there's a blocking volume there that won't let them go very far
Hmm.
down
Yeah.
unless all characters are trying to go down there.
All right.
Oh, we got a bug with the ceiling not coming back on the client. That's fine. That's just a small visual thing. Yeah. So yeah, we
I
got
see
those
this as
that
a
streaming
win.
working. Yeah,
That's
it's
awesome.
crazy
That's
because
really awesome.
I think like 2 weeks ago, like this has just been just over 2 weeks that I've been working on this, and like
That's really really awesome. Was there stuff in Unreal that actually made it helped it happen, or was just something that you had
oh
to
yeah,
completely do?
a lot of Unreal's architecture is like if you understand how it works, like, and I didn't when I first started building this game, if you understand how it
Yeah.
works, then
That's,
it makes it a lot easier. Like a lot of it was storing variables in the right place for like the HUD and things like that, and seeing like we both have the objective
mm,
of talk to Odin right now.
yeah.
If that's legible. There's a bug
That's
with
pretty awesome.
pausing that I'm not sure if is a bug, so I'm not going to pause right now. But because it's
Hmm.
sending, and I guess it's something I'd have to fix anyway. But basically,
Yeah.
because when I try and pause, it's sending the pause input to both screens. So
Uh,
one pauses and then the other one unpauses immediately. But I'm not going to do that on stream right now.
uh,
So yeah, that's
that seems like a minor bug though.
yeah. It's honestly the bigger things like the procedural dungeons getting replicated. That was
Hmm.
a major one. That was the thing that had
Yeah.
me very worried about it. Uh,
That's awesome.
yeah. So
It's
yeah, synced
big
up.
news actually for us. Yeah.
Yeah, synced up the HUD so you can see like what level the players are. You can see their portraits. The color
Hmm.
on the player Bjorn is not getting sent properly. I'll have to check that and make sure that's getting initialized. Again, a lot of minor
Hmm.
things. A lot of little bugs that we'll iron out as we go on. But all of
All
the
right.
major stuff is pretty much handled. The two things that I was very worried about last week, streaming,
Hmm.
that's handled. You just saw that, and loading in the procedural
Yeah.
dungeons, that's all working really well, surprisingly well.
All pretty awesome. It's all
Yeah,
awesome. Great
yeah.
news. Yeah.
Hmm.
Sweet.
And then yeah, so moving on to the next thing, the Steam version, we uploaded a new version to Steam. It's not public right now.
Hmm.
We're it's like our page isn't visible or anything. It's for like testing purposes, so we can send people keys and we can play it and test it over the network. I'll probably be talking to a few friends and sending that out, and we'll test it out.
Nice.
Uh, what else? So early access or demo. So there's a few things we'll get here. Another thing, like we'll talk about the Steam page really quick too. So I went through and added a
Okay.
bunch of stuff to our Steam page. So
Hmm.
it looks more like a game, but it's not something we want to show because it's including some key art that we just got that looks amazing, but it's incomplete, and I
Yeah.
want to save that till it's actually complete, and then we can have a big reveal on stream because it's looking really cool. I'm really
Yeah.
excited about it.
Me too.
Yeah, yeah, it's looking really good. So then, yeah, the other thing is like early access or a demo. So the big thing, so I'm not talking about oh, and another bug I fixed. So this one's the server. If I drop out, it just
Mhm.
seamlessly switches. It used to actually break the camera for a bit, but fix that.
Ooh.
So the other thing I'll do, let's go back to just load one. Then I can go to Dungeon Builder. So if we do early access or we do a demo, we could probably just use
Mhm.
the Dungeon Builder.
Yeah.
So like basically that's all you have access to. You don't have access to any of the campaign or anything like that. You just have access to the
Mhm.
puzzle / Dungeon Builder, and like you just that's the only option. Well, there'd probably be two options. It's like one is like you go to the builder. The other one is just you try out dungeons.
That's pretty
Uh,
cool.
yeah, and so the thing we haven't set up, the thing that I'm really excited about, the thing that I'm probably not going to get any sleep tonight because of, is I was trying to figure out how to share dungeons across the network because
Oh
the
yeah.
thing we use for finding games like that was a plugin and that's using a lot of the built-in
Mhm.
Unreal stuff. But there's
Yeah.
not really anything built in Unreal. Well, it was using the Advanced Sessions plugin, which is a plugin. It's not built into Unreal. But let's switch to this. Ooh, there we go. So yeah, basically what we do is, Dungeon Builder. I was figuring out a way to share it, and I just came across something called mod.io, which is a website that
Hmm.
launched in late 2019, and they have an
Interesting.
Unreal plugin that, and it's basically it's a site for mods.
Yeah.
And the term mod is like it's very broad, so it can be anything from like a custom skin in a game to a custom
Yeah.
level, or and especially for them. Oh, hello, that Paolo guy. Welcome
Hey,
to
it's
our live
Paolo.
stream.
Yeah, Paolo's a friend of mine.
Oh,
He actually
cool.
used to work with us at IDOS.
Oh yeah,
I don't think you two ever crossed paths though. Yeah,
maybe
he's a
not.
friend of mine. He's at Treyarch now.
Oh yeah. Oh
Hey
nice.
Paolo, how's it going? Yeah. No, he was the lead design. He was one of the lead designers on Tomb Raider in the last Tomb Raider
Oh
game.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just missed you then. I was on the second one. Alright, I have some tea here. I just gotta take out the bags, otherwise it's gonna burn. Um,
Hey, so Paolo, we're just showing our game off. Just kind of we're doing like a weekly show and tell of our game, and Bjorn added a lot of stuff this past week on the gameplay side.
yeah, tons of network replication stuff. Should make it way easier. We're like getting very close to a point where, well, we probably could test with friends at this point. It's just a matter of like setting aside the time to do it.
Yeah.
Um, and like it's mostly just setting aside the time to do it. Like online
Mhm.
multiplayer, pretty exciting. And the other thing, so just get to mod.io. It's basically a site where, so it's managing mods, and a lot of it will be custom levels.
Mhm.
And they actually, like doing a bit of research into this, they pretty much handle everything we need for sharing maps, and we can do it. It can be because they recommend you using your own level editor,
Yeah.
and but it's totally, it's very broad. Like it could handle stuff from like the way people mod like Skyrim and stuff like that, where it's just kind of
Mhm.
doing their own things and stuff like that. But they showed an example of a game that was exactly like ours, where inside the game people can make their own maps, just like in our dungeon builder, and they
Nice.
can upload the and in Unreal can handle the upload to their database and then
Mhm.
retrieve mods from their database.
Mhm.
So it'll all be handled by them or by their plugin. And I had to show a little bit of restraint because
Yeah.
I was basically
So anyway, Paolo, just to fill you in, this game is it's sort of like what we're making is I don't yeah, you've never really played the Zelda games. So it's pretty much like a puzzle an action RPG, but with a lot of the puzzle elements that are in Zelda games. Like so there's a lot of like push blocks, switches, things like that. Yeah. Well, your name is the Paolo guy.
oh, I think you meant because
And
you're not really. You said he wasn't into Zelda games or something, probably.
but then what we added is we're making a bunch of tools that allows the player to actually make their own puzzles and sort of make their own dungeons and things like that. So that's like a huge thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I'll run around this room really quick because this is like a test room to show. Like,
Yeah.
okay, so you have like these towers, and like so this tower is attached to this push block. You can push the block around the tower, moves with it. You have like switches that can turn on torches. This one will like spawn a little ball that'll fall. This one will turn on thing. This one like turns gear, and then if you like, so there's a gear on top of the push block. You can push it, and then all the gears are lined up, and then they turn each other.
This is all placeholder art, by the way. It's not final.
A little spin attack does stuff. You have like these big switches that if you step on it does nothing. You have to like move a bigger push block over onto them. There we go. And then it's attached to that platform, so it raises up the platform. Lots of stuff like that.
We can create
tons of abilities, tons of, oh, here's the wind one, so you can turn off the wind and it'll push the fire over onto some other flammable stuff, and then that flammable stuff burns. And so, like, we have all this working where you can, like, save, and when you test a puzzle, you verify it. Like, here, run back over here. The golden switch is the one that's, like, that's what you have to hit to open the doors. So, when doors are open, you can make that as hard to get, like, put it on the platform or whatever like that. And now I'm dead. But the puzzle was verified. Is it verified? I gotta check. Yeah, there we go. Verified. Keeps track of what abilities you use. And then I can go in here and save this. So I'll save the library. I have to name it like let's call it like OBJ. Test. Okay, done. Okay, and you can see, so you can see under my saved rooms that there's OBJ test. You can see the size of the room, and the little red X says that means that it's verified. It means you can complete the puzzle. And now I can go over here to the dungeon builder, and I can make a full-on dungeon. So, like, I'll remove this, and I'll put in the puzzle room I just made, OBJ test. Put that in, then there's like a combat room, then there's a little room with a raft in it, then there's another puzzle room here that's like a pre-made puzzle. I made like 50 puzzle rooms. Then there's a boss fight, and then there's a treasure at the end. So now I can go down and into the dungeon, and same process applies. I have to basically open the treasure chest and get to the warp point to verify the dungeon, and you get credits when you go into your own dungeon or into somebody else's dungeon that's pre-made. So here's the puzzle room I just made. All I need to do is step on the switch. Hopefully people make more complicated puzzles than that. Give them plenty of stuff to use. Then there's like a combat room.
Is it going to be stored locally?
Sorry?
He was asking if it's going to be stored locally.
Yeah, this is all stored locally right now. But the thing I was looking at today is like basically there's this site called mod.io that we can, they have a plugin for Unreal that we can basically, once we'll add some UI and stuff that from the game to be able to basically upload it to their site and then like search by tags for stuff that already exists. And another thing that we can do that'll be really cool is as you're playing, because we typically refer to it as the single player campaign. It's not single player, it's a 1 to 4 player co-op. But in the campaign, there are tons of these dungeons all over the place. And we can just add a setting in the UI that says, or in the menu, it's like, hey, or when you start a game, hey, do you want to use community generated content? Or do you just want to use like the pre-made stuff? And then as you're playing through the single player, or not single player, as you're playing through the campaign, whenever you go into a dungeon, it can do a quick search of like what abilities you have. And as you saw, like we track what abilities are required to complete a puzzle. So it can check what abilities you have, and then it can either download a pre-made dungeon, or it can just get a bunch of rooms. So basically the way the dungeons work is it'll have a certain number of combat rooms and a certain number of puzzle rooms. Skill matchmaking, that's interesting. The thing, so we don't have a lot of stuff along that. We'll have a very simple like rating system similar to Mario Maker, where puzzles and dungeons get rated as easy, medium, difficult, or insane. And yeah, you basically wrap here that you can push around. But yeah, so as you're exploring the world, you'll be able to play dungeons and stuff created by other people. Oh, this was one that was created by, well, I mean, they're all created by me at this point, because I'm the only one that knows how. Finally up there. Always the last place you look. Alright. That is the boss fight. One of our famous frog boss.
The graphics in this are awesome. Look at that frog.
Oh yeah. Oh, he's got me. Yeah. So basically, every room has like a certain. We have a game state check that it can do, and it has everything from like, okay, are you in world 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or the hub? What quests have you completed? We can check that. So like this boss won't be available until you've actually beaten him in the game. He won't show up. So yeah, we have this whole game state thing where, and we'll check like what abilities you have. So underneath my character, you can see what abilities I have. Most of the ones like so. Oh god, I'm not doing nearly enough damage. I'm not gonna beat this guy.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah, he's invincible from the outside. I have to get swallowed to kill him. But, what was I gonna say? Yeah. I think, yeah, I guess that's the thing is like, yeah, when you don't have a budget, like if I had an animator on staff and a rigger working full time, believe me, this would be like a much better looking character.
Yeah, but then,
no,
you know.
Well, like, cause, like
I
that's
could,
the thing, is, like, even if Jock had made this, like, it wouldn't be in the game right now because we don't have the resources to animate it, to rig it, and to animate it.
I'd probably have to animate it myself at this point.
Yeah. I mean, it's fairly simple.
It would suck, but.
Hold on, I'll just. So, let's say hypothetically I beat the guy. Now I gotta figure out where is the treasure room. Up here, and boom! So I got treasure. And I still have to set up the verification tag for this. So, get a little piece of treasure, and then I go back. And now that I've exited through the warp, I've verified it. Now I still need to set up the tags for this that show, hold on. I'll just pause it for now, because my controller keeps rumbling because I'm low on health. But, basically, we keep track of all that, so we'll keep track of what abilities you've unlocked as you're playing the game, and then we'll make sure you have at least all the abilities required. And we can use mod.io to filter that, so because you can search by filters, and so we'll have filters set up for difficulty, depending on, like, basically either straight up, like, what gameplay difficulty you've selected, or we'll have, like, a special menu for, like, okay, which community maps what flags do you want to tag for these community maps?
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it has, like, so many things, like, because we have, like, the tags, we'll have, because there's, like, yeah, there's damage, there's all the abilities. Not sure what else we'll need in terms of tags. There we go. Shouldn't. Yeah, there we go. Full health. Controller not rumbling anymore. So yeah. I'm not sure, Paolo, did you have an important question, or were you responding to something we said? Oh, cool. What's your question? Was that Jock's video?
No.
No, this is actually Eli. I don't know if you met Eli, but
you know Eli Hazen.
Yeah,
he worked with us at Behavior for a while.
Yeah, he's doing some of our audio. or well, he's doing our audio. A lot of the stuff we have in now is like placeholder stuff I got for free or super cheap in the Unreal Asset Store. Uh, yeah, we have a track that he's done with a friend of his in World 3. So here, actually, wait. Do I have
World 3 has a small section that actually has close to final art. And then we stopped actually focused on World 3.
Oh, I gotta update this. Because these save games should tell you what world they're in. But they don't right now. They tell you the difficulty, but I'm pretty sure this one is in the right world. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what the other set of tags I just realized we need were. Because there's difficulty, there's the abilities. Oh, yeah, so we'll need other stuff to, like, check, make sure what bosses you have, because if you do a dungeon, then we'll have to make sure that, oh, yeah, have you beaten that boss yet? Yes, no, then you're allowed to use that.
Out of curiosity, if you have a friend that hit pretty much all the same, I guess, points that you did, like finished all the bosses, has kind of all the weapons and totems unchecked, can you actually just join a game with them? Or, like, with your own character? Or would that have to be on their server?
That is a very good question. So, the way the save game works in our game is basically the game progression is saved on the server. Ooh, that could be an interesting problem. Oh damn. Okay, I'm gonna drop out of this because it has some stuff I don't want to show off.
Okay.
But what was I gonna say? It crashed. Send and restart. Okay. So, the way it works in our game. Oh, that's another thing I did. I made these icons. So it doesn't just say Unreal anymore. It's like actually some splash screens for our game. But
Nice.
so the way the save game works, the progression of the campaign is saved on the server. The character is saved on the client's machine, and I set that up this week. So basically, if you play through it, you join a friend's game, you can create a new character, start at level 1, play through like the first 3 worlds, and level them up to like level 15 or whatever. When you leave, you'll take your character that's level 15 and all of his equipment, and that stays on your client. That stays on your machine.
Nice.
If you want to start a campaign, you won't have any of the campaign information, so you'll have to start a new campaign on your local machine.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you could take that level 15 character and start a new campaign, or join somebody else. Well, it's on Twitch right now, anyway. I've just responded, Paolo. He screen grabbed it. This is archived too, so it'll be up for 2 weeks, and we'll probably put it up on YouTube. It's not like a super big secret. It's just not something we want to like talk about a lot. But let's go. So I'll go to this game instead. But what was I saying? So yeah, if you want to play the same thing, you'll have to join the server again, or you could join somebody else's server with your level 15 character and help them through the first three worlds of the game. So what is my objective right now? It's talk to Odin. Actually, I could just... Yeah, let's just talk to Odin. Shouldn't take long. Oh yeah, Jack, I don't know if you want to talk to Paolo about this.
Oh yeah. Well, I think I was showing this to you as I was making it, actually. Just the center of the village. So I kind of have... He's not an artist, so it's not like... Usually when I talk to artists, I tell them what I'm going to be doing with it, around it, some space. I'll show the key art that Mike made, and or the piece that Mike made, and then...
actually, something...
Then I'd be able to...
Something I should show you that we might... It's because I was using the same effects you're using for the God Rays. Because there's 2 things we'll probably want like a custom version of that for, or maybe it's the same custom version. But so we have this garden maze, and this is at the very beginning of the game we do this, and this guy chases you through it, and we'll have like basically here we'll have some God Rays showing like where the weapon is that you need to pick up.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, the God Rays are supposed to be off screen.
Yeah, they need to go. But I didn't know how to place them, so I was just like, I'll leave it like that for now, and we'll do an alternate version later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'll
Of
do
course
something
I'm
with that.
cheating. Okay, and what was the other thing? Oh yeah, I was gonna go like some of the music in the Celtic world. I gotta walk all the way over there. Cover everything? Yeah, that man, I'm so excited about that IO stuff. Like, I downloaded or I looked at the Unreal Marketplace and found like because they have the plugin on the marketplace, but plugin on the marketplace doesn't. Oh right, I gotta talk to Odin. Plugin on the marketplace, it doesn't have our Unreal version supported. It has 4.25, and we're on the latest. We're on 4.26 right now.
Okay.
But I joined their Discord server and like went through a bit of the chat history. They do have it supported on GitHub, so I can download the version. I've already downloaded the version on GitHub, and as soon as the stream ends, I'm gonna like integrate it and start setting stuff up, and playing around with it. I already created an account on their site. I'm just so excited about this. Oh no! Oh, it didn't give me. Oh, do I not have any abilities? I'm gonna have to review that. I don't have any abilities.
God mode. Go to God mode and just unlock all the abilities and do it that way.
They could if I break this save, but whatever. Okay. Alright, so this is Eli's music, and this is the area they shocked it.
Yeah, there's some art here. Did you listen to the music?
Like the music.
Yeah, I like that music a lot. I can't hear it through here. That's a weird thing for an NPC to say.
Yeah. I could buy a map of this area, so like if I pause, I don't have a map. If I buy this. There we go, got a map. If I open, yeah, I have a map, but I can see all the places I've been. Alright. Now. Yep, yeah, that was just what I wanted to show with the live music, I think. So yeah, for the if we do a demo or something, basically what we have is the dungeon builder, and it doesn't seem that difficult to implement. Well, I don't know how to say that. We'll figure out how long it takes me to implement the mod.io stuff, which seems very easy, but it's gonna be pretty interesting. And then we can have like a demo of our game. Just put it up there. We're early access, and it's just that.
Nice.
Then we'll have, when we launch the game, because we can have the ability for players to like turn on or off like just the content that we've built, or unlock the ability to, when they go into one of these dungeons, they'll run up and go into one of them, because they're all over the place. So here's just a random dungeon. I can go in here, and I can change the settings, or I can set it up so when you start a new game, you have the option of like just the content we've made or user-generated content. So you go into one of these, you get a dungeon that somebody else made, not us, and everything would be credited. So you'd walk into a room, or when you go down a dungeon, as you saw in the dungeon builder. It says dungeon, it says the name of the dungeon, and it says who made it. And then when you walk into a puzzle room, it says the name of the puzzle and who made it. And yeah, I think that's pretty crazy. That like 3 weeks ago, I was like, we're probably gonna have to cut networking multiplayer, and I just looked into it, and the tools around Unreal, the community, and the plugins and everything they made is so robust that it's like,
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's all
It's really, really
possible. And
awesome.
and then this, I was like, we're gonna have to hire earlier today. I was like, we're gonna have to hire a programmer to do that because I have no idea how I'd set up any of that stuff. And then mod.io exists, and now it's all simple. It's all doable and within a ridiculously short period of time.
Nice.
And it's gonna
Nice.
make our game amazing.
That's sweet. That's all pretty. That's all really exciting. Oh man, if you told me that we were gonna have to cut the multiplayer, that was gonna be like a massive gut punch to me.
Well, if we wouldn't cut local co-op, we'd still have
Yeah,
that.
I know. I
But
know, but
network
like,
multiplayer, if I could, if the advanced sessions plugin didn't exist, I don't know, man,
yeah,
or something.
I think it'd be one of those things where it'd be like, okay, well, I guess we're gonna have to do freelance work for a couple of years to to hire a programmer to do it for us. I
Yeah,
think
or
that's
it's for the
would
sequel.
have been.
But this,
Yeah.
like, because there's a certain series of of things that would really make our game feel incomplete, and lack
Yeah.
of online co-op or lack of online multiplayer would have been one of them. Not being able
Yeah.
to share the dungeons you make would have been a huge
Yeah.
that would have been a huge strike
Yeah.
against us. As good as it would be for us, people would complain about that. Like nobody would
Yeah.
think it was cool because they couldn't share it with
Hmm.
anyone. So the fact that it's plausible now, it's doable, it's within our budget, and I'm probably gonna have it up and running within a month.
That's
Within a few
amazing.
weeks even, maybe. We'll see.
Maybe what I should do then, just in terms of refocusing on the fly, is just maybe really polish up the dungeons
Yeah. Well,
and
I mean
all the
that's what we're
puzzle
doing right now,
elements.
anyway, right?
Yeah, yeah. I was going to make a trailer, but I could really just focus on polishing up the dungeon, all the
Oh,
puzzle
well, I think
elements, and then
so. The
yeah.
thing is, because well, let's talk about that right now. What exactly in the trailer would be pulling you away from working on the dungeons? Because I know we wanted to do a bit of Dream Street.
all the placeholder elements for the puzzle, and maybe some of the UI stuff.
Well, that's all. Well, no, but what would be pulling you away from doing work on the dungeon? Because most of it was going to be focused on the dungeon anyway, right?
No, definitely not.
No.
After the dungeon was just going to be the art for the actual the environment art for the dungeon. What I was going to do is I was actually going to focus a lot on like the interactive objects, the
Those
UI,
those
possibly
all of the interactive objects and all the UI we need for the dungeon builder anyway, right? Those.
But no, but that's what I mean is I wouldn't have focused on that in the trailer.
Oh, okay, I see what you mean.
So that's the problem. Is well, I mean, well, we can discuss it later. I mean, as we mentioned before, Paolo, the had we known before years ago, probably the first focus we would have done was actually a trailer rather than make a game.
Yeah, I don't mind.
Yeah,
If if we
we're
did that, that's one of the things is like because if like the whole dungeon
Yeah.
builder thing I came up with on a whim last August. Actually, it was July.
Yeah.
It took me 5 days to set
Yeah.
up the puzzle builder and the dungeon builder.
yeah,
Because basically the way it all works. Oops. That's interesting. But the way it all works, like it's and center. Okay. Crash again.
mhm,
Like the way it all works is like all of the objects, like the puzzle objects, I had already built in a way where it's like, okay, yeah, so this platform you can either send an event to go up or go down, or where you send an event with a boolean that's either go up or go down, or you just feed in a float between 0 and 1, and then like the gears that turn output a value between 0 and 1. The spinning thing outputs a value between 0 and 1. The switches output an event with a boolean that can be up or down. So I set it up so it'd be super easy for me to script, and basically like a bunch of Legos. I just throw a bunch of them in the level. It was super fun for me to just make a puzzle. Then just building an interface that allowed players to do that took like 3 days, I think.
mhm.
And then we had procedural dungeons. Same
Yeah.
thing. Like I had programmed everything to procedurally place all the rooms, and then I'm just like, all I really need to do is build a UI that allows a user to place their own rooms.
Yeah.
And And then we had that. That took like 5 days to build the first prototypes for that. But there's obviously been a lot of polish since. But yeah.
Pretty cool. It's all very,
Yeah.
very, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, kind of where we're at now, Paolo.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bjorn's going to show me how to do some art swapping stuff in a bit.
Yeah. Do you?
But I don't know.
I think
Keep
I've
talking
heard
about
of
what you're talking about because like this is all really fascinating to me too. I'm just learning about what you're doing
Okay.
now.
Yeah, it's honestly the craziest thing about the last few weeks for me, Paolo, has just been how much of the sort of back end work the Unreal community has already done. Like setting up those sessions, like finding the server and everything like that. The hardest part about that was building the UI. Because everything was just it's all in Blueprint, it's accessible in Blueprint, and you just call the right events, but it was like most of my time was spent building the UI for that. It wasn't actually programming like creating a server and everything like that. It's just yeah, and then same thing with the mod.io stuff. I haven't gotten into it, but it seems really straightforward. So see how that goes. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of lost my train of thought though. I don't know what else to talk about. Do you guys have any questions about any more of the design stuff or?
Not right now, no. But looks really
Okay.
cool. A lot of
Yeah.
progress in a lot of short time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Insane.
Just noticing some of the new levels out, the new floors that I put in were kind of there, and they look very drab now. So it's funny because like I think I might have taken it a little too far the other way, but we'll see.
Okay. Do we have a completion date in mind?
for the
We.
for the oh, do we have completion date for the right now? What we're looking at is we wanted a trailer and a vertical slice by the end of the summer. So, reason being was we were toying with the idea of having something to show to publishers, but now we're still sort of kind of even on the fence about that. But we'll see. That's sort of wait and see. Just because of having spoke to other indies who have went the publisher route, there's it's debatable whether it's actually well, yeah, worth it long term.
Mhm.
I guess short term, of course, it is. They give you a bunch of money up front. They help you finish the game. They give you a bunch of help with marketing. But the thing is like the things that we'd be asking for, which would be like certification, compliance, localization, and marketing. Those are all things that you can actually pay people to do. Like you can pay a QA firm to do your QA for you. You can pay for a PR firm to do your marketing for you. And like there's actually all these avenues that we can actually do on our own. So, and the thing is what a publisher takes is half forever. So like you'll be continuing to do work to support everything afterwards, but they'll just take half forever. Like if you humble bundle this game like 7 years from now, and they give you like $500,000, they take half. Well, half of you whatever you get, right? Yeah, so that's what makes it really, and half is a pretty standard fee cut, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why we're like, I know plenty of people who didn't go with the publisher and they're doing pretty well. And I think if had they gone with the publisher, I'm not sure if they would have done as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, flip side though is Wall Street Journal about Roblox. New, can you send it to me after?
Yeah. Send it. Actually, posted it. Posted it on our Discord. In
Yeah.
Paolo's on our Discord, right? Yeah. Cool. Thanks.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because I'd be interested in reading that too. That was one of the things actually that kind of inspired me to make the Dungeon Builder is like
Yeah.
talking to a friend about how obsessed his kid is with Roblox.
Mm-hmm.
And like a few tweets from some indie developers last summer about like I think a lot of people are underestimating the popularity of Roblox. Honestly, the thing that has me the most nervous right now is
Yeah.
Nintendo, because they
Yeah.
announced a lot of like really cool Mario stuff
Yeah.
last year for the 35th anniversary of Mario, and this year's the 35th
Mhm.
anniversary of Zelda. And I'm like, if
Mm.
Nintendo announces that they have a Legend of Zelda Mario Maker game, then we're
Yeah.
gonna that really hurts us because then we're the cheap
Yeah.
knockoff. But if we
Yeah.
can get any kind of like, well, because that's one of the things is we're streaming this. So, but if we can get like
Mhm.
any kind of public presence, and so people know about us, and that we existed before
Mhm.
they announced it, then that helps a lot.
Mhm. What are you saying? The profit sharing breakdown from what I gather, 70-30 for favor of content creators.
Mhm.
Uh, I don't know. Like, I don't know if we're gonna actually have that kind of selling of content.
Oh yeah,
It'll
yeah. Like
probably
all
be.
this is free. It's very much like Mario Maker. We're gonna have. Oh, it'll be. Oh, they're going public. That's interesting.
Mm.
Roblox is gonna be in stock.
Ooh,
Mm,
very
yeah.
interesting.
Hmm. Yeah.
Hmm.
So. Did, no, that's not what I'm suggesting, Jacques. I'm saying that they have
Oh, okay, yeah.
kinder
So
approach
70
to
30.
content creators. Yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah,
it is.
it's funny.
A
Yeah.
lot of platforms seem to be like that though, because like even because I guess yeah, they're probably closer to a platform than a publisher at that
Mhm.
point. Because like Steam, I don't even know what Steam currently takes. It was 30%, and then there was all this kerfuffle with Unreal and Epic and stuff like that. So
It's still 30%, and I think they're
yeah.
going to keep it. Well, Epic said they're going to stop doing platform exclusives and stealing other things when
Mhm.
Steam decides to go
Mhm.
12% or whatever
But
Epic's
yeah,
doing.
even like
So
Xbox, Nintendo, Sony, they're
yeah,
all gonna be 30.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's
Uh,
the frustrating thing too, right? Is because like yeah, you look at how it gets whittled down, and it's like okay, so we sell a copy of our game on Steam. Steam takes 30%, and that leaves us with
yeah.
70%. Then our publisher takes 35% of that, so we're left with 35%.
But
It's
then,
like
like,
just kind of gets whittled
and
down.
the gross part of it was if we went with Canadian Media Fund
Yeah,
back on the
yeah.
previous one, they would have taken 25% on top, so we would get
Mm-hmm.
10% of our game.
Mm-hmm.
Right, until CMF gets paid off, and then yeah, like the CMF, it's well, CMF got is down to 15% now flat, but that's also flat forever. So
It's forever. It wasn't.
yeah,
It is even the first 7 years now.
oh yeah, right. It might be 7 years. I don't
I
know.
mean,
That was the
seven
old.
years is basically
Yeah,
forever in the lifespan of a game.
yeah. But seven, yeah, because like games that came out in 2013, if they came out with Humble Bundle now, and
Mm-hmm.
let's say you got, yeah, I mean that's a console cycle. Like even if you were to get it on like
Yeah.
Xbox, the
Yeah.
Xbox play
I
arcade,
guess
whatever.
because
That's
that's
yeah,
actually a
that'd be
very
good.
valid point that it's a console cycle. It's like, hey, we're gonna re-release an HD version of our game on the next generation of consoles. If it was popular enough, probably
Yeah.
not bad.
Mhm.
Although with the latest generation of consoles, I think that's less likely because there there's a big push for reverse compatibility. So like, if you're an
Yeah.
indie game that was made to run on PS4, your game will run on PS5, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah. Probably.
And same thing with Xbox. So
Hmm. I mean, it's a bit to think about. So like, anyway, what we're kind of going back to is if we don't go with a publisher, do we really need a vertical slice?
yeah, that's the thing.
The
Is like
trader, yeah,
it's
if we
literally
are
what
going to need
every
a
publisher
trader,
we've talked to and a lot of people are saying to us is like, yeah, yeah, let us know when you have a vertical slice. And like, basically the way our time has been divvied up, like Jacques been doing a lot of contract work. I've been bouncing back and forth, and it's like, well, I mean, we don't have enough. Our we don't have a good art benchmark yet for what
yeah,
our vertical slice is going to look like. But I'm not going to let that stop me from building the rest of the game. And like,
mm,
it's like for a while now, you've been able to play through the whole thing from start to finish, and now I'm doing all this cool stuff that like I redid the UI a few months ago, just to make it look
mhm,
less like programmer art and a bit more palatable. Like it was jarring before how bad it
mhm,
was. And yeah, and like the like new features, like if we had gotten funding, there's no way we'd have this dungeon builder because it was at a point where it's like Jacques and I are just doing freelance work
yeah,
until we're ready to either like finish the game or like do something like a Kickstarter, and it's like, so we don't have any kind of finite dates or deadlines where it's like we're gonna run out of money at this point. It's like, well, no, we're gonna run out of money pretty soon, but it's like I'm talking to people and I have contracts lined up, so we'll have income.
Yeah.
we don't need to release a game just to have income. We have our freelance work, and Jock and I are fortunate enough that like we have really good reputations and it's relatively easy for us to find work.
Yeah. Yeah. So
it's nice. It's everybody's hiring right now. Like everybody wants people with our talents, pretty much. We have to turn down contracts.
Yeah. So it's fortunate for that. The other thing though is like if we were to look at if we can do this without getting like a publisher or even a loan or whatever, what ends up happening is like we're not. I don't want to say we're not in a rush because we do have to ship something eventually, right? Because like, but if we're in a spot where we can actually just like kickstart it, and then that'll help us ship, like okay, well.
That's one of the things. Because I'm seriously considering like doing Steam early access or doing a demo where it's like we can charge like not quite full price. It'll be like a discounted price to get early access to our game. We gauge how popular it is, and that can help fund us.
Roblox sucks. By Roblox sucks. Right now, the big money making scheme for artists. I don't know if you've heard, but it's been going on the last week or maybe 2 weeks. Is the what's it called, the NTX? What's it called? The artists are selling the crypto version of their work.
Yeah.
Crap. What's it called? Artist NFTs. Yes, NFTs. And it's basically this wholly unethical. Yeah, it's a pyramid scheme where the artists finally get to be on top. So a lot of artists I know are profiting heavily off of it, but when you actually do the environmental cost, like the breakdown, it's like, okay, well, there's basically, a couple of acres of servers in India running off of coal to try and basically, I don't know, like it's a weird thing, but it's incredibly unethical in a lot of ways for the environmental costs.
Yeah, the environmental impact of
and a lot big artists being artists, they're getting called on it, but they're like Twitter's just a minefield right now. If you're pro NFT or whatever, then it's just you're gonna get crucified by the art community. So yeah, because someone actually did a cost breakdown of all of it, and it's pretty brutal. Like it's several like for one piece, like just if there was no transactions on the piece, it was basically like 2 years of household electricity.
And that's if there's no transactions.
Yeah, there's no, and usually each of them have several transactions. So if it goes through the entire blockchain, it's like it's pretty costly, and it's just the way that the crypto was set up. The Ethereum, I think it's called. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're all they use the same technology. So.
Yeah. So yeah, I think there should be. Well, anyway, this is another ethical debate, but like, I don't think we're gonna go in that direction. So.
Yeah. It's one of those ideas. It's like, hey, we could do this, and then I think it's like, I think it was like the first or second article. You were like, yeah. After that you read about it, you're like, no, we should not do this.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what if we did this? Oh, these are the implications. These are the repercussions. Nope, we're not doing that. Never mind.
So Supergiant's is a publisher now, but I think their first one was Bastion. Was EA, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, that's definitely who we would love to emulate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Supergiant. What was Supergiant? Yeah, it was Bastion, right?
Yeah, that was the first one.
I think that was EA, but they might have not done like Warner Brothers. Sorry.
Oh, Warner Brothers. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I just bought Hades. I haven't played it yet. I started playing Loop Hero. It's pretty neat. It's this weird combination of a bunch of games that I like. It's like a deck building game. It's a roguelike. It's kind of Sim City-esque where you're building stuff. But oh god, it's so many different things. Yeah. Should do a stream on it later.
So what I find really interesting about publishers is where we used to work, Behavior. they made their first mega hit, which is Dead by Daylight, and Dead by Daylight was so wildly popular they had to pay. I think it was something ridiculous, like I want to say like 50 million to buy back the publishing rights to their own game, because Starbreeze was just sitting on it like doing nothing, saying, "Hey, thanks for the free money forever."
Oh,
And yeah, so I think they had to pay. Oh, geez, how much did they pay?
mm.
Try to look this up. Behavior, Dead by Daylight, Starbreeze. Yeah, so 12 million paid in royalties. Yeah, sold. Oh yeah, so 16 million. Sorry, not as much as I thought. But I think that was also before they went supernova. Like
Yeah.
Dead by Daylight. Also, because that's before they got all the licensing stuff for like Friday the 13th and Ash from Evil Dead and Freddy Krueger. So yeah. So yeah, publisher isn't all that it's cracked up to be. That we're slowly learning through other indies. It's kind of a cool thing to learn. Yes, the money up front is great, and it's not something that we've said no to yet. We're still kind of exploring, but that's a big cost.
That's a polite way of saying nobody's made us an offer. We haven't had to say no.
Well, but we haven't really I'd say in the last 2 years we haven't really been looking, and we're not.
No,
but it's just sort of like, well, should we really make a vertical slice if we're not going to pitch to a publisher? we're still kind of, well, let's work on the trailer first then.
I think the thing is, because like we're working on the trailer right now, and a lot of that is basically just to get sort of an art benchmark up and running. But like a lot of the stuff we didn't want to do was basically like, we don't want to do this because this is going to take away from the actual development time of the game. So like I have no problem doing like a contract work that allow us to hire a concept artist, or like pay my bills for the next few months. But like I don't want to spend that few months like working on like pitch decks and other things for like publishers that may or may not pick this up. It's like, no, I'd rather just make the game, and I'd rather have a completed game.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So.
Well, I think once you have a vertical slice, though, I've been told by some pretty enough people that it's actually easy to get a publisher once you have the vertical slice. It's just, getting who you get to partner with. That's the big issue, and what they're going to take is the other issue.
Mm-hmm.
And different publishers will ask for different things, like they get the right of refusal for the second one.
Mm-hmm.
And what that means is basically, if you want to pitch a sequel, they get to say no, like in perpetuity forever. So if we decide to make a sequel for this game, they could just say no, and we have the right to say no to anything related to this IP. So it's like,
that's not what first right of refusal is.
No, it's not first right of refusal. It's a simple right of refusal. Like apparently some indies I know were given that, like, as an IP right of refusal.
Oh, geez.
So they were hit with that.
Yeah,
and then they're like,
brutal.
okay, well,
if we signed anything, it would be like, okay, we'll give you first right of refusal, but not full right of refusal. Yeah. Because it's like, because the whole thing with first right of refusal is like, well, you have to take it to them first, and if they don't like it, then you can take it to anybody else.
Yeah. But yeah, that was all pretty gross.
But I mean, that's why Valve made Steam, right? Because they wanted to get out of their deal with Sierra.
Yeah. Get out of the deal with who? Anyway.
Yeah, I don't think we'll go over the dungeon stuff tonight on stream. But if you want to do, like, we can do a call tomorrow and stream that, maybe.
Sure.
Because I don't know what the setup's going to be for that, and we can like talk it over. Because it probably makes more sense to do it on your machine.
Right. Sounds good.
We still have to figure out how to get you to stream without it lagging your computer like crazy.
I think I just need to use a graphics card.
Yeah.
But the
Is
thing
it
is
your
I
graphics card?
don't really need a graphics card because like I can work just fine. The game runs fine on my machine. It's just like once I start streaming and having
Well,
Photoshop open and ZBrush and
and
Unreal,
it's
then it
well, so
lags.
when you open Task Manager, that's the thing is we should do some profiling. It's like open up Task
Yeah,
Manager. Is it your graphics card or is it your CPU? Because it
I
shouldn't be
don't
that
know.
difficult for your graphics card because it's your graphics card has like special hardware in it that will do all the
Yeah,
encoding. So it should be
yeah.
super easy for your graphics card. It shouldn't be that big a
Hmm.
deal on it. But
Okay,
it might be something
probably
is
right.
still doing some CPU intensive stuff, but we should definitely profile that and see if we can get it sorted out.
Yeah, probably. Anyway,
Yeah.
cool. Should
Mm-hmm.
we? Hey, Paolo, do you have any more questions for us? It's
Yeah.
interesting because we usually have a guy, Phil, who's a
Yeah.
community guy, kind of just asking us more generic, non-design related questions.
Yeah, or just like the somebody with the perspective who isn't in game development.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, hey, so how do you make these decisions, or what inspired you to do this, or oh, what's this mean when you said that thing? And it's very hard to be like, okay, well, yeah, so I've like well, I don't know. I feel like a lot of the terminology we use in design is fairly
Yeah.
like plain language. There's definitely design.
Yeah.
There's definitely language in design that I absolutely despise because it doesn't adhere to good design principles. But I don't want to get into that rant on screen right now.
Yeah. Artists will often,
Oh, cool.
we'll unfortunately make up our own terms on the fly.
Yeah.
And for some reason, we'll all know what each other's talking about.
That's been interesting to track. You need to have Call of Duty IQ. Okay. Yeah. That's one of the things at EA is they have like a I can't remember what the name of the document was, but it's basically like all of the abbreviations for it was a 30-page document of all the like what all these abbreviations mean at EA. Like what does that three-letter word mean? I don't know. Or what does that three-letter acronym mean? I don't know.
Made by people who like buzzwords, I remember.
Yeah. A lot of people like want to coin stuff like that. Anyway, we're just kind of joshing right now. We'll call the stream. Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Good night. They don't use meters as their metric for measurement. Oh, that's